Have you ever felt like no matter how much you study, the pressure just keeps building up? The late nights, the endless deadlines, and that constant fear of not being good enough, it's something so many students face today. But here's the truth. Academic pressure doesn't have to control your life. In this video, I'll share with you 5 powerful solutions that can help you stay on top of your studies, protect your mental health, and actually enjoy the learning journey. Stay tuned because these strategies might just change the way you approach your education forever. Effective time management is one of the most powerful tools to overcome academic pressure. When students feel overwhelmed, it is often not because the workload is impossible, but rather because it is disorganized, scattered, or left until the last minute. Managing time effectively creates clarity, builds discipline, and gives a sense of control over what initially appears unmanageable. The first step in effective time management is acknowledging that time is a limited resource. Just like money, if it is not budgeted wisely, it disappears without much notice. Many students underestimate how long tasks will take, leading to stress and late-night cramming. A clear plan allows one to spread tasks evenly across available time, ensuring that every responsibility receives the attention it deserves without overwhelming the mind. To begin with, setting up a daily or weekly schedule. It is essential. This could be done with a traditional planner, a wall calendar, or digital tools like Google Calendar, Notion, or specialized study apps. The key is consistency, writing down assignments, exam dates, reading tasks, and even rest periods. A schedule should not only include long-term deadlines but also smaller milestones along the way. For example, instead of writing essay due in 2 weeks, a student could break it down into research sources by Friday, write outline by Sunday, and draft first half by Wednesday. Smaller tasks are less intimidating and provide regular achievements that motivate students to keep going. Another core element of time management is prioritization. Not all tasks carry the same weight. A 10-page final paper is clearly more significant than a short worksheet. Yet without prioritization, a student might spend unnecessary hours on the worksheet while procrastinating on the essay. One useful method is the Eisenhower matrix, which divides tasks into 4 categories: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither. By categorizing, students learn to focus energy on what truly matters rather than being busy with tasks that offer little progress. Academic pressure often stems from spending too much time on low-value activities, leaving high-stakes responsibilities until panic sets in. Equally important is the concept of balance. Time management is not about squeezing every minute into studying. Ironically, those who attempt to study all day without breaks often retain less information and feel more stressed. The brain requires intervals of rest to consolidate information effectively. Techniques like the Pomodoro method, 25 minutes of focused work, followed by a 5-minute break, help maintain concentration without burning out. Students can also insert longer breaks after several work cycles, allowing time for meals, light exercise, or socializing. These breaks are not wasted time but investments in mental energy and productivity. In addition to planned breaks, students should build flexibility into their schedules. Life is unpredictableness. Unexpected family obligations or sudden changes in assignment requirements can throw off even the best prepared plan. Instead of rigidly filling every hour, leaving buffer periods allows for adjustments without spiraling into stress. If a project takes longer than expected, those buffer times can absorb the delay, preventing the dreaded domino effect of unfinished tasks piling up. Discipline plays a significant role in managing time effectively. Even the best designed schedule is meaningless if it is ignored. Here, the concept of accountability becomes helpful. Some students find that sharing their schedule with a friend, study group, or family member helps keep them on track. Others use apps that block distracting websites or track productivity. A simple but powerful strategy is setting specific start times instead of vague intentions. Saying, "I'll study math at 7 p.m. creates a stronger commitment than "I'll study math later tonight." When repeated consistently, these habits form routines that feel natural and automatic, reducing the mental effort needed to begin tasks. Another challenge in academic life is multitasking. Many students believe that juggling multiple assignments at once saves time, but in reality, it often reduces efficiency. Switching between tasks forces the brain to reorient itself repeatedly, leading to mistakes and slower progress. Time management encourages single tasking, focusing fully on one subject for a defined block of time before moving on. This not only enhances productivity, but also builds deeper understanding of the material. One overlooked aspect of time management is aligning study sessions with personal energy levels. Not everyone is most alert at the same time of day. Some students are morning-oriented, thriving when they tackle complex tasks right after breakfast. Others find that their concentration peaks in the afternoon or evening. By observing their own rhythms, students can schedule demanding tasks for high-energy periods and save lighter activities like reviewing notes or organizing materials for lower-energy times. This alignment maximizes efficiency and reduces unnecessary strain. Technology can be both a blessing and a curse in time management. On one hand, digital distractions like social media, games, and constant notifications steal precious hours. On the other hand, there are numerous apps and tools designed to enhance productivity. Tools like Trello, Notion, or Todoist allow students to organize assignments visually and track progress. Calendar apps send reminders about deadlines, and focus apps like Forest or Freedom help minimize distractions. The challenge lies in using technology deliberately rather than letting it consume attention. Setting clear rules, for example, no social media during study blocks, ensures that technology supports rather than sabotages time management. A critical point is that effective time management is a skill that improves with practice. Students should not expect perfection from the beginning. Missed deadlines, underestimated tasks, or overpacked schedules are part of the learning process. The important part is reflection, looking back at what worked, what didn't, and making adjustments. Over time, students develop an intuitive sense of how long tasks will take, how many breaks they need, and how to create schedules that truly fit their lifestyle. Ultimately, mastering time management reduces academic pressure by transforming chaos into structure. Instead of facing a mountain of tasks with anxiety, students approach each day with clarity and confidence. They know what to do, when to do it, and how to maintain balance in the process. This sense of control alleviates stress, boosts productivity, and allows space for both academic success and personal well-being. In a world where demands constantly compete for attention, time management is not just a study skill but a life skill, one that empowers students far beyond the classroom. Setting realistic goals is another essential strategy in reducing academic pressure. Many students fall into the trap of setting overly ambitious targets, often influenced by competition, parental expectations, or comparison with peers. While ambition can be a positive driving force, unrealistic goals can quickly turn into a heavy burden that fuels stress, anxiety, and a sense of failure. The art of goal setting lies in creating objectives that challenge the student but remain within reach, objectives that encourage growth without crushing morale. A common problem is the mindset of perfectionism. Students sometimes believe they must achieve the highest grade in every subject, join every extracurricular activity, and simultaneously maintain a flawless personal life. This pursuit of perfection is not only unsustainable but also damaging to self-esteem. Each time reality fails to meet those impossible standards, the student feels inadequate. Instead, shifting the focus from perfection to progress can dramatically reduce pressure. A realistic goal is not, "I must get 100% on every exam," but rather, "I will aim to improve my score by 10% compared to last time," or "I will complete all assignments on time this semester." These goals recognize growth, not absolute perfection, as the true measure of success. To create realistic goals, students can use the SMART framework: goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, study harder is vague and unhelpful, while study biology for 45 minutes every evening this week is clear, measurable, and actionable. The SMART method helps students break down broad aspirations into smaller, manageable steps. Instead of being overwhelmed by the thought of doing well in school, they can focus on completing concrete tasks that steadily move them toward improvement. Another important aspect of goal setting is personalization. What works for one student may not work for another, because everyone has different strengths, weaknesses, interests, and circumstances. Some may excel in math but struggle with literature, while others are passionate about arts but find science challenging. Setting goals based on individual capacity ensures that effort is directed where it is most needed. For example, a student who already excels in English may set a goal of maintaining their grade, while channeling more energy into improving mathematics. Tailoring goals avoids spreading oneself too thin and creates a balanced approach that respects personal limits. It is equally important to set both short-term and long-term goals. Short-term goals provide daily or weekly motivation. They might include finishing a chapter, solving a set number of problems, or revising lecture notes. These small victories create momentum and build confidence. Long-term goals, on the other hand, serve as a guiding vision. They might involve achieving a particular grade by the end of the semester, preparing for a university entrance exam, or mastering a skill necessary for a future career. Together, short-term and long-term goals form a roadmap where daily actions contribute meaningfully to a larger objective. Flexibility is another critical component of realistic goal setting. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes goals need to be adjusted. A sudden illness, unexpected family issue, or an especially challenging subject may disrupt even the best-laid plans. Instead of viewing this as failure, students should see it as Part of the process, adjusting goals does not mean giving up. It means adapting intelligently to changing circumstances. For example, if a student originally planned to complete 5 assignments in a week but only manages 3 due to unforeseen issues, the goal can be reset for the following week without self-blame. This approach reduces guilt and keeps motivation intact. Celebrating achievements, no matter how small, is another way to reinforce the habit of realistic goal setting. Academic culture often emphasizes what still needs to be done rather than recognizing what has already been accomplished. Students should pause to acknowledge progress, whether it's finishing a chapter ahead of schedule, improving a grade, or simply sticking to their plan for a week. Positive reinforcement builds self-confidence and creates a healthier relationship with studying. This in turn reduces the psychological weight of academic pressure. A supportive environment also plays a role in helping students set and maintain realistic goals. Teachers, mentors, and parents can encourage students to aim high without pushing them into unreasonable expectations. Constructive feedback helps students recognize their strengths and identify areas for improvement. For example, a teacher might advise a student to focus on developing essay structure rather than attempting to master every literary concept at once. Similarly, parents who emphasize effort and progress rather than demanding perfect grades create a home environment where realistic goals feel valued. Students should also be mindful of the dangers of comparison. With social media and peer competition, it is easy to measure success against others rather than personal standards. However, every student's journey is unique. The classmate who seems to effortlessly achieve high grades may have different circumstances, learning styles, or priorities. Instead of competing externally, students should compete with their past selves. The goal is not to be better than everyone else, but to be better than yesterday. This shift in perspective helps students set goals that are meaningful and sustainable. Another technique that supports realistic goal setting is reflection. Taking time at the end of a week or month to evaluate what worked and what didn't provides valuable insights. Students can ask themselves, were my goals too ambitious? Did I underestimate how long a task would take? Did I succeed in areas I thought I would struggle? Reflection helps refine goals for the future, making them more accurate and aligned with reality. Over time, this process sharpens self-awareness and enhances a student's ability to manage expectations. Finally, realistic goal setting fosters resilience. When students experience setbacks, they inevitably will, realistic goals provide a framework for bouncing back. If the goal is framed around improvement rather than perfection, failure becomes part of the journey rather than a final verdict. For instance, failing a test does not mean academic defeat but signals areas needing more practice. The realistic goal then shifts to addressing those weaknesses in preparation for the next test. In this way, goals transform pressure into motivation, helping students grow stronger with every challenge. By setting realistic goals, students create a balanced academic path that prioritizes progress, personal growth, and well-being. This approach removes the crushing weight of impossible standards and replaces it with steady, meaningful steps toward success. Academic pressure no longer feels like a suffocating demand, but becomes a structured journey where every small achievement counts. In the end, realistic goals empower students to take ownership of their learning and to thrive without sacrificing their mental health. Maintaining a study-life balance is crucial for managing academic pressure, yet it is often the first thing students neglect. Many assume that dedicating every waking hour to studying is the only way to succeed. However, overloading oneself with constant academic tasks often backfires, leading to exhaustion, reduced productivity, and burnout. A balanced approach ensures that while academic responsibilities are taken seriously, students also nurture their physical health, mental well-being, and social relationships. This balance transforms the learning journey from a burden into a more sustainable and enjoyable process. One of the biggest misconceptions is that taking breaks or engaging in leisure activities is a waste of time. In reality, downtime is a vital investment. The human brain is not designed for continuous, intense concentration over long periods. When students attempt marathon study sessions without rest, the ability to retain and process information decreases significantly. Short breaks, on the other hand, refresh the mind and allow information to consolidate in long-term memory. Activities, such as listening to music, taking a walk, or stretching, are not distractions but tools that boost overall learning efficiency. Physical activity plays an especially important role in maintaining balance. Exercise releases endorphins, which improve mood and reduce stress levels. Whether it's a simple jog, yoga session, or team sport, physical movement provides an outlet for tension built up during hours of studying. Moreover, exercise improves blood circulation and oxygen flow to the brain, enhancing cognitive performance. Students who incorporate regular physical activity into their routines often report greater focus and energy when they return to their academic work. This creates a cycle where physical health supports academic success rather than competing with it. Social interaction is another critical yet overlooked aspect of balance. The pressure to achieve can sometimes isolate students, making them feel as though they must sacrifice friendships and family time to succeed academically. However, social connections are essential for emotional resilience. Talking with friends, sharing experiences, or simply laughing together provides a release from academic stress. Supportive relationships remind students that they are not alone in their struggles. In fact, maintaining healthy social bonds often gives students the motivation and emotional strength to face academic challenges with greater confidence. Hobbies and creative pursuits are equally important in creating balance. Engaging in activities unrelated to academics, whether painting, playing an instrument, writing, or gaming, provides a mental shift that refreshes the brain. These pursuits stimulate different parts of the mind, offering a sense of accomplishment and joy that is independent of grades or exams. By nurturing creativity, students not only relax but also develop skills like problem solving and adaptability that indirectly support academic performance. Rest and proper sleep are perhaps the most underestimated elements of balance. In the rush to meet deadlines or prepare for exams, students often sacrifice sleep, believing it gives them more study time. Ironically, lack of sleep reduces memory, retention, impairs judgment, and weakens the immune system. Consistent high-quality sleep is one of the most powerful study tools available. It restores the body, sharpens concentration, and strengthens memory consolidation. Students who prioritize rest ultimately perform better than those who attempt to replace sleep with extra study hours. Creating balance also involves setting boundaries. With the rise of digital learning and constant connectivity, academic responsibilities can seep into every part of the day. Students may feel pressured to check emails, respond to group chats, or revise notes late at night. Without clear boundaries, the line between study time and personal time disappears, leaving no room for relaxation. Establishing rules such as no academic work after a certain hour or keeping weekends partially free helps preserve personal space. Boundaries also reinforce discipline, ensuring that when it is time to study, focus is strong and distractions are minimal. Time management strategies, such as the Pomodoro method, complement the effort to create balance. By alternating focused study sessions with breaks, students integrate rest into their routines naturally. Scheduling leisure activities alongside study sessions in a planner also ensures they are not neglected. Just as students would write down exam dates, they can write down exercise at 6 p.m. or movie night with friends on Saturday. By treating relaxation with the same seriousness as academics, balance becomes a planned priority rather than a secondary afterthought. A balanced lifestyle also requires self-awareness. Not every student needs the same ratio of study to relaxation. Some may thrive on longer study sessions with fewer breaks, while others may need frequent pauses to stay productive. Similarly, some find social activities energizing, while others recharge best through solitude. Students who reflect on their needs and preferences can design routines that feel natural rather than forced. This self-awareness ensures that balance is personal and sustainable instead of rigid and artificial. Importantly, balance does not mean equal time between study and leisure, but appropriate time for both. During exam season, academic work may naturally take priority, but even then, maintaining some form of relaxation, whether short exercise routines or nightly breaks, is essential to avoid collapse. During lighter academic periods, students can dedicate more time to hobbies and social life without guilt. Balance is dynamic, shifting with circumstances while maintaining the principle that academics should not consume one's entire identity. Maintaining a study life balance also builds resilience against long-term stress. Students who only focus on academics risk burning out before reaching their goals. Those who cultivate diverse sources of joy and fulfillment have greater emotional strength to endure challenges. For instance, a disappointing exam result may devastate someone who places all self-worth in academics. But for a student with strong friendships, hobbies, and healthy routines, that setback becomes only one part of a larger, meaningful life. This resilience is invaluable, not only during school years but throughout adulthood, where the ability to juggle responsibilities and personal well-being becomes even more critical. In conclusion, study-life balance is not a luxury but a necessity for students facing academic pressure. By integrating exercise, social connection, hobbies, rest, and clear boundaries into daily life, students enhance their mental health, improve focus, and achieve better academic outcomes. Balance creates sustainability and ensures that academic success does not come at the cost of happiness or health. With a balanced approach, students can meet their responsibilities while still enjoying the richness of life, turning academic pressure into manageable motivation rather than overwhelming stress. Seeking support is one of the most effective yet often underutilized strategies for reducing academic pressure. Many students believe they must handle their struggles alone, fearing that asking for help is a sign of weakness or failure. In reality, seeking support demonstrates strength, maturity, and self-awareness. No one achieves success in isolation. Behind every high-performing student is often a network of teachers, family members, mentors, and peers who provide guidance, encouragement, and reassurance. Understanding when and how to reach out can transform the academic journey from one of isolation and stress to one of connection and empowerment. The first and most accessible source of support is family. Parents and siblings, when supportive, provide a foundation of emotional stability. Sharing worries about exams, deadlines, or heavy workloads with family members often brings comfort. Parents, in particular, can help students gain perspective by reminding them that their worth is not defined by a single grade or performance. Sometimes, simply talking about the pressure out loud lessens its intensity. In addition, families can provide practical support by helping create a quiet study environment, assisting with time management, or encouraging healthy routines like regular meals and sufficient sleep. Teachers and professors are another crucial source of support. Unfortunately, many students hesitate to approach educators, worried they may appear incapable. However, teachers appreciate students who show initiative in seeking help. Whether it's clarifying a difficult concept, requesting extra practice materials, or asking for deadline extensions under valid circumstances, teachers can provide solutions that students may not realize are available. Beyond academic assistance, many educators are also willing to listen and offer encouragement, reminding students that learning is a process, not a performance. Peers and classmates play a unique role because they share the same environment and understand the pressures firsthand. Forming study groups allows students to learn collaboratively, breaking down complex tasks into manageable parts. In such groups, each member can contribute strengths. One might excel at problem-solving in math, while another is strong in memorizing historical facts. Collaborative learning not only improves academic performance but also builds a sense of community where students support one another emotionally. Simply knowing that others face similar challenges creates solidarity and reduces feelings of isolation. Mentorship is another powerful form of support. Mentors, whether older students, alumni, or professionals, offer wisdom gained from experience. They provide guidance on study techniques, career planning, and stress management. A mentor can reassure a student that struggles are temporary and that setbacks are stepping stones toward growth. Having someone who has already navigated the same path helps students gain confidence in their own journey. Mentorship also opens opportunities for networking and inspiration, showing students that there are multiple paths to success beyond academic grades. Professional support should not be overlooked. Counselors, psychologists, and academic advisors are trained to help students manage stress, anxiety, and pressure. Unfortunately, stigma around mental health sometimes prevents students from seeking professional help. Yet counseling offers a safe space to explore feelings, develop coping mechanisms, and create personalized strategies for handling workload. In cases where academic pressure leads to severe anxiety or depression, professional support can be far from being a sign of weakness. Accessing these resources demonstrates proactive responsibility for one's well-being. Technology and online communities also expand opportunities for support. Educational platforms, online forums, and mental health resources connect students with others facing similar struggles worldwide. Whether through tutoring websites, virtual study groups, or support forums, students can share advice, ask questions, and gain encouragement. While online communities should not replace personal connections, they can supplement support networks, especially for students who feel isolated in their immediate environment. Importantly, seeking support requires communication skills and courage. Students must be willing to express their needs clearly. For example, instead of vaguely telling a teacher, "I don't get it," they can say, "I don't understand how to apply this formula to real problems. Can you show me an example?" Specific requests lead to more effective support. Similarly, telling a parent, "I'm overwhelmed with my workload and need quiet time in the evening," provides a clear path for assistance. Practicing assertive but respectful communication ensures that requests are understood and met constructively. Students should also remember that support is reciprocal. While receiving encouragement and guidance is valuable, offering support to others strengthens relationships. Helping a classmate with a difficult subject, listening to a friend's worries, or sharing study resources creates a culture of mutual care. This reciprocity reduces competition and fosters collaboration, making the academic environment healthier for everyone. By both giving and receiving support, students build lasting relationships that extend beyond academics. One of the barriers to seeking support is pride. Many students fear being judged as weak or incapable if they admit to struggling. Overcoming this mindset requires reframing the concept of support. Just as athletes rely on coaches, nutritionists, and teammates to perform at their best, students thrive when they acknowledge the value of guidance. Seeking support does not diminish independence. Rather, it enhances resilience and effectiveness. Admitting vulnerability is often the first step toward genuine strength. Another barrier is cultural or social expectations. In some environments, high achievement is celebrated while struggle is stigmatized. Students may feel pressure to maintain an image of effortless success. Breaking this cycle involves creating open conversations about stress and normalizing the idea that everyone faces challenges. When schools and communities promote dialogue around mental health and academic pressure, students feel more comfortable reaching out. Educational institutions can play a key role by offering workshops, peer mentoring programs, and accessible counseling services. Ultimately, seeking support transforms academic pressure into shared responsibility. Instead of carrying the entire weight alone, students distribute it across a network of allies. This not only lightens the burden, but also enhances problem-solving and resilience. With family encouragement, teacher guidance, peer collaboration, mentorship, and professional resources, students build a safety net that allows them to take risks, grow, and thrive without fear of collapse. By recognizing that asking for help is a strength, students empower themselves to overcome academic challenges more effectively. They gain not only practical solutions, but also emotional reassurance, reminding them that they are not defined by a single grade or moment of struggle. In the journey through education, support is not optional, it is essential. Through it, students discover that academic pressure is not an isolated battle but a shared experience, navigated most successfully with the help of others. Maintaining a healthy balance between study and rest is perhaps the most essential, yet most frequently overlooked, solution for coping with academic pressure. In today's competitive world, many students believe that the more hours they dedicate to studying, the better their performance will be. However, research consistently shows that the human brain requires periods of rest in order to function at its peak. Without adequate breaks, sleep, and recreation, learning efficiency decreases, stress accumulates, and overall well-being suffers. Striking a balance between productivity and recovery is not just about feeling better, it is about performing better academically and living more fully. The foundation of this balance is proper sleep. Sleep is often the first thing students sacrifice when deadlines loom or exams approach. Some stay up late cramming, believing that trading rest for more study hours will give them an edge. Ironically, the opposite is true. Sleep plays a critical role in memory consolidation, problem solving, and focus. When students deprive themselves of rest, they may retain less of what they study, make more mistakes, and struggle to concentrate. Over time, chronic sleep deprivation contributes to anxiety, depression, and burnout. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night is not a luxury, it is a necessity for both mental health and academic success. Beyond sleep, regular breaks during study sessions are crucial. The brain is not built for uninterrupted focus over long stretches of time. Techniques like the Pomodoro method, where students study for 25 to 30 minutes followed by a short break, can significantly enhance concentration and reduce fatigue. During these breaks, engaging in light activities such as stretching, walking, or listening to music refreshes the mind. Instead of wasting time, these short pauses actually boost productivity by ensuring that the brain remains energized and ready to absorb new information. Physical activity is another important component of balance. Exercise is often dismissed as a distraction from academic priorities, but it is one of the most effective ways to relieve stress and sharpen the mind. Activities like running, swimming, yoga, or even a brisk walk increase blood flow to the brain, improve mood through the release of endorphins, and enhance overall energy levels. Students who exercise regularly often find themselves more motivated and capable of handling academic challenges. The discipline required in physical training can also positively influence study habits. Teaching consistency and perseverance. Nutrition plays a similarly vital role. In the rush to complete assignments or study late into the night, students sometimes skip meals or rely heavily on caffeine and junk food. These habits might provide a temporary boost, but ultimately drain energy and concentration. A balanced diet rich in whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and proteins supports brain function and sustains focus. Hydration is equally important, as even mild dehydration can impair memory and alertness. In this sense, proper nutrition and hydration are as essential to learning as textbooks and lectures. Recreation and hobbies, often dismissed as wasting time, are actually integral to mental balance. Engaging in creative outlets such as drawing, playing music, writing, or even gaming allows the brain to recharge in different ways. These activities provide joy, reduce stress, and stimulate different areas of the mind, making students more versatile thinkers. Recreation should not be seen as an escape from studying, but as a complement to it, a way of maintaining a healthy mental state that supports academic achievement. Social connections are another pillar of balance. Spending time with friends and Family provides emotional support and perspective. Sharing laughter, engaging in conversations, or enjoying group activities helps students relax and prevents isolation. Academic struggles often feel overwhelming when experienced alone, but in the company of others, challenges appear more manageable. Maintaining relationships is therefore not a distraction, but an investment in mental resilience. Mindfulness and relaxation practices also help students achieve balance. Techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, or journaling allow individuals to manage anxiety and stay grounded. Even just a few minutes of mindfulness practice daily can reduce stress, hormones, increase focus, and create a sense of calm. These practices teach students that rest does not necessarily mean doing nothing. It can mean actively caring for the mind and creating mental clarity. The challenge, however, lies in overcoming the guilt many students feel when resting. In competitive academic environments, rest is often equated with laziness. Students fear that every moment not spent studying is a missed opportunity to get ahead. To overcome this mindset, it is important to recognize that rest is part of the learning process itself. Just as athletes alternate between training and recovery to build strength, students must balance study and rest to achieve sustainable academic growth. Rest is not the absence of productivity, it is the preparation for productivity. Establishing routines can make this balance easier. By scheduling study sessions alongside regular breaks, exercise, meals, and sleep, students create structure that prevents burnout. For instance, setting a rule to avoid studying past midnight or dedicating one day each week to rest and hobbies provides boundaries that safeguard well-being. A consistent routine also reduces decision fatigue, allowing students to focus on learning rather than constantly juggling their schedules. It is also important to recognize that balance looks different for everyone. Some students may need longer study sessions with fewer breaks, while others thrive with shorter, more frequent pauses. Some recharge through social interactions, while others need solitude and quiet. The key is for each student to pay attention to their own physical and mental signals, adjusting routines as needed. Self-awareness is essential in tailoring balanced strategies that truly work. Ultimately, maintaining a balance between study and rest is not about achieving perfection, but about creating harmony. Academic success loses its value if achieved at the cost of health, happiness, or relationships. By respecting the body's need for sleep, the mind's need for breaks, and the heart's need for joy, students can thrive both academically and personally. Instead of viewing rest as the enemy of achievement, it should be embraced as its partner. A balanced life enables students to approach challenges with energy, resilience, and perspective. It ensures that academic pressure does not crush their spirit but instead becomes a force for growth and development. Through balance, students learn not only how to succeed in school but also how to build habits that will sustain them throughout their lives. So, those were 5 practical solutions to overcome academic pressure, from managing your time wisely to taking care of your mental and physical health. Remember, success isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these strategies do you think will help you the most? Or do you have your own tips to share? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss out on more content just like this. Let's grow together and make learning a healthier, happier journey.